Truly indeed, because your only reality is your next breath. Because your only reality, my only reality, is my next breath. All I have to do to be centered is simply breathe deeply. I have to be centered, to center myself in my own heart, is simply to breathe consciously. So breathe consciously now. Let us have a conscious deep breathing jamboree. Let us have a conscious deep breathing festival. Let us breathe consciously and deeply as if breath is going out of style. Let us breathe as if our lives depend on it. Because it truly does. Excuse me. Let us breathe now. Let us breathe now because the cosmos runs on its breath. Let us breathe now because our planet runs on our breath. Let us breathe now because our bodies, your body and mine depends. Your body and mine run on our breath. Because our breath is so significant, we often overlook it. Because our breath is so important, we often overlook it. Because our breath is our only reality, we often take it for granted. But in this moment, I invite you to simply breathe consciously. Breathe consciously and deeply because conscious deep breathing is the key to your happiness. Breathe consciously and deeply because your health depends on it. Breathe consciously and deeply because your wealth depends on your next breath. Breathe consciously and deeply because your freedom from fear, your freedom from anxiety, your freedom from disease and distress depends on your next breath. So regard your next breath highly. Take it and regard it as your sacred material, your sacred property. Breathe consciously and deeply and regard your breath as your God, simply because it is. Breathe consciously and deeply because your breath is your power, your only power. Breathe consciously and deeply because your breath source of significance, source of importance, source of value. When you look at it, when you breathe consciously and deeply and regard that it's your breath, your next breath, that is supplying you with the stimulus to enjoy yourself. Your breath is your stimulus, the only real stimulus, the one that keeps you going, the one that renews you. Breathe consciously and deeply now, because your breath and mine is everything to us. It's everything to us, simply because it is everything to us. It's not something you and I can explain. It's not something you and I can account for. No, our breath is a scientist that knows how to construct, to express, to manifest and maintain us as itself. Our breath is not a hoax. Our breath is not a fake. Our breath is the only reality that you and I can eat and drink and experience joyfully. So take some quiet time now with your breath. You realize that without your next breath, without your next breath, is our only reality, our only spending currency, our only physical reality. Breathe consciously and deeply now. For your breath and mine, your breath and mine is truly our only reality. So if you want to cook up some happiness, just turn to your next breath and say, my breath is my happiness. If you want to cook up, say, my next breath is my health. If you want to cook up a sense of wealth, all you have to do is turn to your next breath, and say to yourself, my breath is my wealth. For your wisdom, turn to your next breath. All you have to do is turn to your next breath and enjoy. It's simple, straightforward. Your next breath is very straightforward. It is your life. But you have to turn to it and acknowledge it, embrace it, and just sing the chorus. I love my breath as me. My breath is all that I am. Your breath is all that we are. between living the rich, secure, and satisfied and not living. Trust your breath. Love your breath. Embrace your breath. Engage your breath. Spread your mind and body, because it is indeed your only reality. Don't get hung up on images. Don't get hung up on text. Don't get on textures as your breath. Your colors, your textures, your taste, your sounds. Love what you're experiencing as your breath, simply because it is. Know that what you're dependent on is your breath. And on you to experience it and provide the appropriate feedback, to speak joyfully to your breath, speak lovingly to your breath, speak with love and joy and tenderness to your breath, because your breath indeed is your real and truly your only lover. The love that you found when you took your first breath